So the last 24 hours have been really interesting with conversations that I have had with those first responders that I coach. And we've had a couple of different scenarios. So I wanted to tell you about a couple of them because um, it's really interesting to see how they have both played out. So the first one is a client who complex PTSD, when we first started working together, was suicidal, had tried everything, absolutely everything for his PTSD, was living in traumas every 2 to 3 minutes. He was living in a catastrophic thought. And we started getting his stress system sorted. We started getting him on track. And he got to where we were supporting his stress system, where he got him out of that heightened stress state, that hypervigilant state where you're on that high, where you go from 0 to 100 of calm to anger at home, where your brain gets a little clearer. And we got into that point. And the next step that we usually work with people on is start working on their gut. And we haven't gotten to that point with him yet. And he went to his doctor, and because of some results that came up, they decided that they needed to take him off of some of his anti-anxiety and antidepressant drugs for a medical issue that was supposedly going on. And so they took him off, and he started spiraling. And he started thinking that all of his hard work was for nothing, that everything that we had done and gotten him out of this hypervigilant state maybe really was all in his head. When we got him to a point of his nervous system, he was able to go to his trauma therapies and PTSD therapies and work through his traumas. And he was starting to live in every day. But as soon as he got off of these anti-anxiety and antidepressants, he started spiraling. And so his doctors then did a retest on the medical issue that they thought, and they went, oh, false alarm. The results aren't what they are. You can go back on these meds. And he was bummed. He was like, really thought that he may have to be on these anti-anxiety, antidepressants forever. And that they're really, and he was questioning his mental ability because of what had happened over the last week or two. And that's when I started explaining again to him the role that our gut plays in anxiety and depression. And that is so not linked in everything. Like when you guys are often talked to about the low motivation and drive, the anxiety that kicks in, the depression, not wanting to be a part of anything, distancing yourself from social things. Instantly, you guys are taught that this is all a mental thing. This is all a mental health issue. And I'm not about to dispute any of that side of things because I don't study the mental side of things. But what I will tell you is what I experience with the physical side of things is your gut is responsible for 90% of your serotonin production. 90%. Serotonin is the drug, it's a synthetic serotonin that is found in anxiety and depressant pills. So you're given synthetic serotonin because your body's not creating serotonin. Serotonin is that happy, feel good, I am motivated, I am a part of things, I want to be a part of things, I want to live, I want to do things like go back to fishing and hunting and all of these things that I haven't done in forever because I'd lost that drive. That is serotonin, and 90% of that, 90, is produced in your gut. Now, when you have long-term stress, your nervous system kicks in every time you are stressed. Your body does not know. It's still way back from caveman days. Your body has never adapted, never adjusted since caveman days with that it doesn't know the difference between you being on your phone and the blue lights from the phone, from your devices, from your laptops going into your brain. They don't know that is not a dangerous stress, because that initiates your stress response. It initiates your cortisol, your energy stress hormone. It doesn't know the difference between you worrying about a financial stress or worrying about your teenage child dating or rushing to a hot priority call. It doesn't know the difference. So your body is constantly kicking in that stress nerve. And every time that stress nerve kicks in, your um your gut slows down, because when you are in the middle of going to a hot priority call, when you're in the middle of a crisis, you don't need to eat and you don't need to stop and have a poo. So your colon slows down and your stomach acids slow down and your digestion slows down. And when that starts happening, all kinds of other things start messing up your gut. You start getting diarrhea, constipation. Usually it's actually constipation first, and then it could be diarrhea. It could be a combination of the two. You get that acid feeling come up, indigestion, heartburn. You get all of these IBS. You get pain, bloating. All of these things start happening. And when you guys are wearing a vest, I know for the officers in here, for any of you guys that wear a vest, when you're bloated and when you're bloated and not sitting in your service vehicle, it already is uncomfortable. Then when you're sitting in your service vehicle, it just makes it worse. And if you're pushing the bad bacteria, and yes, I'm saying bad bacteria, not acids. When you're pushing all this bad bacteria that starts accumulating in your gut, that starts coming up and giving you more indigestion and GERD and all of these issues that you start feeling in your gut. And serotonin, of what I said, is that 90% of that 90% of that serotonin that's being produced starts lowering and starts lowering and it starts lowering. And it just lowers so much that your motivation and drive goes away, that you stop caring about things, that you stop wanting to do things with your kids, that you stop wanting to do any extracurriculars. You don't want to go hunting or fishing or doing all of these things that you used to love to do. All of that starts going away the more that this nervous system starts kicking in and turning down the digestion in your stomach. And it starts this whole slew of things going on. So as I explained it to this former officer, I explained that it's not something that's going on in your mind. It's totally a lot of it right now, because he's already worked on the traumas. He's got the flashbacks where they are totally decreased. He's out of those catastrophic thoughts. A lot of his actual PTSD diagnostic symptoms are have been managed and worked through with his PTSD treatments now. That this anxiety and this depression is because we still haven't yet dug into his gut. So he's starting to get the testing. We're working on the testing now to find out exactly what's going on in his gut, because it doesn't make sense to go into this battle with the wrong ammunition. Like, who wants to go in a battle with the wrong devices, the wrong ammunition, the wrong intel? You're not going to be able to come out with the best results. You're not going to be able to win that war. So he's doing the testing results now. And once we test, we're going to find out. So he's back on his anti-anxiety meds. He's back on his antidepressants because he needs to be right now, because his body cannot produce that serotonin, right? So with that, a lot of people tell you diets, eat healthy, do this metabolically changing you. But if you don't go in and really dig into this gut, lift the hood, fix what's in the gut, you're not going to get that serotonin up again, and you're not going to be able to get off of those anxiety and depressant meds that your body truly does need right now. They're there for a purpose. They were designed for a purpose. They weren't designed for long term. They're designed until we can get your gut working the way it needs to work. Which brings me to the other officer that I was speaking at the other day. He was fire. He's actually fire, EMS, and police. For 25 years, he's been dealing with IBS. 25 years. Last night, we had a big conversation, and he was expressing how he, when we first met, his depression had taken over. He wasn't the husband he wanted to be. He couldn't be there with his kids. He was short fused. Um, he was just all over the place. And he had tried everything. He'd been on trial drugs. He's had every medication. The amount of meds this guy has had to put into his system to just get by has been unbelievable. And so the testing, we finished the testing with him, and he started the protocol to work on the invaders in him. We found out which bacteria was in him and which pathogens were in him, which viruses were in him. And we started tackling those 2.5 weeks ago. And in those 2.5 weeks, he has changed so much that his colleagues are saying, like, he had somebody come on the other day saying, whoa, you're not the guy people said. You're easy to work with. What were they talking about? Because he was so short fused at work. He was frustrated with everyone, short fused and low on his tank. And at home, he's hanging out with his kids again. His son got on, sorry, I'm going to cry because this means a lot to me, but his son actually got on a call last week and said that he had his dad back. His dad's playing with him again, and his dad's calm. He said, "Thank you for making my dad calm." And his wife said that she has now her husband back, the husband that she married. 2.5 weeks of starting to get these invaders. Now, I'm going to tell you this isn't always the case. This guy struggled, though, for 25 years with IBS, and he was at a state when we first started working that he said that he wasn't sure if there was, I want to word this correctly. He wasn't sure if he had much to live for anymore because he was spending every single hour in the bathroom. And he was on antidepressants and anti-anxiety and trying to manage all of these things. So in 2.5 weeks, he's totally gone from that. He went from his Panax, having it every single day, to now only needing a quarter of it on his last day of shifts, of his block of shifts. That's it. That's where he's down to now, as his gut's been improving. And as we've been teaching his nervous system to not be overpowered, his resting nervous system to kick in more. So he's been switching, he's been able to get his digestive system working more, and we're healing it. And he's not living in that stress system, turning off his gut. So his serotonin is starting to work. His antidepressants, he was on 25 milligrams of his antidepressant, he's down to 5 as we're working on his gut. So I just want you guys to understand that prescriptions are important. They really are. There is a reason they're there, is because your body is not doing what it was supposed to be doing. But once you actually start fixing the root cause with your doctor's help, that's when you can start coming off of those. And that's when your natural serotonin kicks in and you can start enjoying Christmas like these two officers are. We've been talking about Christmas and they're so excited this year. They want to be hanging out with their kids. They both actually have Christmas off too, so somebody was looking out for them this year. They have Christmas off and they are looking forward to spending it with their families because they're calm, they're motivated, they have energy again, they're sleeping. Both of them sleep 7 to 8 hours a night and are waking with energy, because that's actually the first thing we work on before we even dig into the nervous system and gut. But they're sleeping, their body's regenerating, and we're fixing the root cause of their stress system, because you guys aren't broken. And this is the thing, is everybody keeps saying it's a mental health issue, it's a problem here, a problem there. It's not. It's because you guys were not taught how to support your stress systems on 12, 24-hour, 48-hour shifts, overtime, and with all of the stressors that you can't control in your job. It's not that you're broken, it's that they've been teaching you all of the tools that a civilian needs. And you are not a civilian, you are way more than that. So all you need is to learn first how to repair this, and then you need to learn just how to maintain your stress system for the life of a first responder. And that's what needs to happen. So if you have any questions, absolutely pop them in the comments. Private message us. We are here to help you. You can also email us support@911lifestyle.com. Everything with us is not associated with your service. Nothing goes beyond us. Those in the program also have the option to go completely incognito. We have a private members group, not on Facebook, totally separate, totally outside there. It's a secret group that nobody can search and find. And you can use an alias. So it doesn't matter if you are worried if your service is going to find out. It doesn't matter if you are a chief and a commander, if you are just starting on the job and you don't want anybody in your service to know that you are in this program. We've created systems for that because we know that that's a very important thing to you guys, is to stay under the radar, to stay anonymous, and to learn what you need as a first responder, not a civilian, in order to thrive in your career. So reach out. Again, support@911lifestyle.com. Email us. You can comment here, ask us to reach out to you, private message us, and we are here for you.